Hey, welcome into Facebook Live. Today is Wednesday. It is 10 o'clock a.m., and that means it's an opportunity for us to chat, to spend a little bit of time together here in Facebook Live so I can share just a few things with you. I'm super excited today because I have a couple things on my mind, things I've been thinking about, and it really sort of struck me yesterday evening as I was tucking Camden into bed. I went in his bedroom and he shared something with me that really made me wish that I was going on vacation. So I'll tell you about that in just a moment because I think that's an important piece of this. But I just wonder today, as you're thinking about this rainy Wednesday morning, what is your favorite thing to do on vacation? Where's your favorite place to go? I can't wait to hear your answers because I'm a firm believer that there are two types of people in the world. There are the type of people that enjoy going to the beach for vacation, and there are the type of people who like going to the mountains for vacation. And maybe mixed in there, there's the people who like to relax and lounge and do nothing. And then there's the people who like to go, go, go. And so luckily, my wife and I agree on some of that. We're both beach people, which is the right answer. That's the right place to vacation. But we're sort of opposite in what we like to do once we get there. See, when I go on vacation, when I get to the beach, I just want to sit and be and hang out and do nothing. My wife, she likes to do things and have experiences and see stuff. And that's totally just not my thing. But the reason I started thinking about that is because of a conversation I had yesterday evening. Now, here's Micah Schuhart. Micah, thanks for your answer. It is a good one, but it is incorrect, I'm afraid, because the right place to go on vacation is to the beach. So appreciate you weighing in. However, I respectfully disagree, my friend. So I think that the conversation that I want to have with you today started yesterday evening because as I was putting Camden to bed, he was telling me about his experience at kids camp. Now, you may not know, but this week is actually kids camp here at the Summit. It's been a pretty cool week, and we've had an opportunity to weigh in with kids and spend some time with them. And we've got games and crafts and activities. And not only that, we have an evening worship service that we're spending time together, worshiping and learning together with our kids and their families. And Camden was telling me what they learned yesterday evening. I wasn't sitting next to him because I was off doing something else, but he was telling me a story that actually comes from Matthew chapter 7. And I think it's wisdom that is actually really good for us as adults in this day and age because it tells us about wisdom. It talks about the decisions that we make and how we get to the decisions that we make. And so the story in Matthew chapter 7 is pretty cool, actually. It's a reminder about the way that you build a house. Now, I like going to the beach. And hey, Micah's telling me that 30A is the beach. I appreciate that. Jake and Chris, Jake wants to go wherever there's the least amount of people. And I get that, especially in this day and age. Chris wants to go somewhere with a cabin. I like that. However, that cabin needs to be on the beach, Chris. So when I sit on the beach and I make sandcastles, you can build something until the waves come and they take it away, right? And so it's this lesson we learn as kids on the beach that has implications all the way through our adulthood. It changes the way we think about things. So Matthew chapter 7, it's Jesus telling the story, and he says, there are two types of people when it comes to making decisions for their life, when it comes to building their life. And the two types of people are the people who build their house on the sand, where the waves come and the foundation is eroded and eventually the house crumbles. And there's the type of person that builds their house on the rock, a firm foundation that no matter what comes against it, that house will stand. And ultimately, for each of us, we have those types of decisions to make in our lives. Where is my foundation going to be? Where is my hope going to be placed? When I make a decision, what is the element that really lies at the bottom that holds everything about that decision together and makes sure that it's the wise decision going forward? Now, I'm a parent, right? And so I have kids, and I'm hearing all the conversations about schools reopening and kids going back to schools. And of course, we're going to know more this week in the Lee Summit School District. But there's this thing that as parents that we have to do. We have to make a decision what we're going to do with our children. What's the best decision to make? What's the wise decision to make? We have to make decisions about our workplaces. If you don't feel like it's safe to go back to work, what do you do? How does that fit and feel with your work environment? Kids' sports are starting back up. Do you let your kids re-engage in sports? Do you go to Lowe's to pick up something that could probably wait? Do you do Hy-Vee grocery delivery? Do you go into a restaurant and sit down and eat? I mean, we're wrestling with this question as a church, right? I mean, when do we gather back in person at the church? And in all of these things, there are decisions we could make, and some of them might be better than others, and some of them may actually be equal when it's all said and done. But the foundation for making those decisions has to be wisdom that is rooted in God. Because the ultimate source of our wisdom is God. Proverbs 2:6 says this, "For the Lord gives wisdom. From his mouth come knowledge and understanding." We can make decisions on our own. We can decide what we want to do. But if we want wisdom, if we want a house that's built on the rock, where wind won't come and destroy, where waves won't crash against and knock it down, it needs to be a decision that is built on wisdom. And wisdom comes when we give our hearts and our lives and the power to speak into our lives over to God. See, I think it's really easy to just acknowledge that, yeah, I mean, God's smarter than I am. I mean, there's this verse in Isaiah, right, that God's ways are higher than my ways. Just look around, right? You look at creation and you say, yes, God knows more than I do. God can do better than I can do. But ultimately, when it comes time to make a decision, so often we lean on our own understanding. You think about Proverbs 3:5-6, right? That in all of our ways, we acknowledge God and he will make our paths straight. And yet we stress out and we're not sure what to do and we struggle with decisions. And I think ultimately the answer to the decisions that we need to make comes back to who is helping us make those decisions. Yes, read the blogs. Yes, watch the news. Yes, do the research. But ultimately, do what James says in James chapter 1, verse 5. He says, if any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, because without finding fault, he gives wisdom abundantly. As you struggle through and as you try to make a decision, as you figure out what's next, don't do it based on the wisdom that only you possess. That's building your house on the sand. Instead, seek God. Ask God, what's the best decision for me in this season at this time so that I can have a house, a foundation that's built on the rock that is Jesus. Because ultimately, these are lessons we learn as kids on the beach. And Stacy says, yes, she wants to go to the beach. And Stacy, that is the right answer. Thank you very much. Sally is agreeing. The beach with her son who lives there, and I would love to live on the beach. That would be super incredible. Hey, today I just want you to think about all the decisions you have before you, all the things you might need to do, all the things that you're weighing and considering. And as you sit and wait on the decision from the school district about what school is going to look like, as you think about coming back to worship in this building, don't become consumed by the pros and the cons. Don't become consumed by the what ifs and the maybe we shoulds. Instead, focus your heart, focus your mind on seeking the wisdom that only God can provide. And ask him to give you that wisdom as you make these decisions. Hey, it's been a great time with you today. Thanks for coming and spending just a little bit of your Wednesday here. I hope that you can get your mind off the rain and on to greater things, like spending some time on the beach. We'll see you this weekend at our services, Church Online. Have a great week.